I've been giving a lot of thought to how we make our industry better and how we apply standards that are already in place more. There's no shortage of standards in our industry. We've got a lot of different organizations that produce standards, policies, and guidelines, and those eventually make their way into code. And so most of us, when we do a job, we have to pull a permit and we have to do it to code. So how come all the work that we see out in the field sucks? It was done by a licensed contractor a lot of times. It was inspected, it passed, and it still is a horribly installed and commissioned system. I don't think adding more codes and policies and raising standards is the way to go. We already have those in place, just a lot of people don't do them. No, I think the way that we improve quality in our industry is through education and making it a culture, a social norm to do better work. And I'll give you an example. When I climbed into the truck, I wore my seatbelt. 20 years ago, it was sort of 50-50 whether I care to wear my seatbelt. But over the years, culture changes. You get more awareness of something. You get educated. Maybe people around you put some positive peer pressure and make you change. And that's kind of what happened with me with wearing a seatbelt. I think if a young person gets into a car, they are much more likely to put on their seatbelt because it's a culture that started with education in school. There are school programs that encourage wearing a seatbelt. There's a lot more billboards out there and signs and just education. And then when they ride with their friends, there's probably a positive peer pressure that makes them want to put on a seatbelt, where now they just do it. They do it without thinking. Did stiffer fines and getting a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt really work? Well, it probably made some people wear their seatbelt, but probably other people thought, well, I'll probably never get caught. How's a cop ever going to see me not wear my seatbelt? See, that's what I mean about enforcement. It doesn't always work. You have to change what the social norm is, what the culture is. So how does this apply to HVAC? Right now, in a lot of places, there is a culture of doing poor work. It's either because people don't know any better or they don't care. And I don't think you're ever going to change the people that don't care. But you can change the people who, given the proper education, would want to do better quality work. And that was the case with me. I was not trained how to do good quality work coming up, and it's something that I have had to learn over the years, so that now I have a culture in the work that I do and of doing a better job. Look, it's just what I do. It costs what it costs, it takes what it takes, and either I'm allowed to do it to that standard or you can find somebody else. And it's a hard culture to change overnight. Social norms don't change overnight. It takes generations. That's what it's going to take in this industry here, is years, perhaps even over generations, to change the culture of doing better work. So how do we do that? When we're riding with an apprentice, we're going to talk about how to do things the right way. Then when we get out to the field, we're not going to go back on our word and say, well, we can't do it this way now because we're in a hurry. No, we stick to our guns, we do it the right way. When we do a good job, when we pull a good vacuum, when we braze with the nitrogen, when we use a press system, and when we start up and commission the system, when we do load calculations, we do all the stuff we're supposed to do, post it, educate the next generation. They will take that, they will educate the generation that follows them, and over the course of time, a rising tide will float all ships.